Hey guys, this is Ashton.
And Kevin from Jackalmen Games.
And JediGeekGirl from I Rebel.
All right, guys, so thanks for joining us on this special edition of our very first podcast with JediGeekGirl from I Rebel. So she is here with us to just kind of hang out and talk about a few things with all these regionals going on. And I think we're about halfway through. Is that right?
Actually, we have 2 more weeks left, so we're pretty much in a home
Awesome.
stretch.
Oh,
awesome. So what do you think about the build so far? Oh gosh, don't hit the button, Kevin.
The home stretch. We're rounding the bases. Okay,
See-
I did it. I won't press it again, I promise.
See, I set that up perfectly for you.
Yes, thank you so
Oh
much.
man, you're awesome. True pro. So one of the compliments that Jedi Geek Girl gave me is I sound a lot like Mr. Chip from Discard to Reroll, and I'm really happy about that.
And
That completely made my
and
night.
not only that, but you have another person as your co-host from the Double Blanks family.
Oh my gosh, I'm embarrassed. I don't even want to try to do that.
Where's that trash?
No,
Where's that
I don't
trash?
even. I
Certified.
don't even want to try to do that. I'm embarrassed now. He's gonna listen to this, and he's
Oh,
gonna
man,
think I
Kevin.
sound so childish. I'll get into it. But no, this
Oh, man.
episode of our first ever podcast is definitely to highlight Jedi Geek Girl. We want to talk about her, about what she does, about how she affects our community. So we wanted to get started with that.
Yeah, so let's go with the first thing. So tell us, how did you get started? So where did all this begin, and how long ago was that?
So for me, it started on not only day 1 of Star Wars Destiny, but like literally the hour that Destiny was announced. I was playing the Star Wars LGG from Fantasy Flight Game, and I get obsessive about things. It is why I do what I do. It is how I'm able to put out all the content I'm able to do and have a passion for things. But anyway, so I was following Fantasy Flight Games, and Destiny was announced, and I was hooked right away because I come from a CCG background, and with Fantasy Flight Games announcing a new CCG, and me coming from a CCG and being a huge fan of Star Wars, it was a match made in heaven. And pretty much since then, I've been off to the races.
Awesome. I definitely agree with that. I mean, I come from playing Pokemon and Magic as, from being in elementary school. And, obviously Magic was out way before I was in elementary school, but I'm not that old, even though I do sound like Mr. Chip. So no offense, Mr. Chip. So, but yeah, so, I come from, playing the wonderful world of trading card games as well. And when I saw that Star Wars had something that involved dice, and it wasn't a matter of how much I've spent in cards and what is, my set combo that is pretty much going to happen 80 to 90% of the time. When I saw that there was dice there, that changed everything. It just made it way more appealing. And I'm like, man, this is fun. It involves the chance. It involves this great Star Wars universe. And, I was kind of hoping that the community would be just as inviting as this game was. And so far, that has been 100% true.
I come from a Yu-Gi-Oh background. The community is, most of my great friends from up north, I went to school in Pennsylvania, and that's how I made friends was with Yu-Gi-Oh. But I made more friends with Destiny than I have with Yu-Gi-Oh, and just because everybody is so awesome. And we have a new friend to add to the list. Yeah.
So I think I'm a little bit older than both of you, but I actually have a background in all 3 of the major 3 games as well as some other ones. My primary game being Yu-Gi-Oh! I spent like 10, 12 years in it, so I'm familiar with Yu-Gi-Oh! And it always brings a smile to my face when I hear people talk about Yu-Gi-Oh! So I don't want to hijack it,
Awesome.
but when you played Yu-Gi-Oh!, what was your time period? Like, what was one of your favorite decks?
My time period was from wind-ups craziness, where you totally hand loop them and win, to about right before Lynx came out. So I was there. I was there from Bubble Beat to Metaphors.
Have you ever played a Gladiator Beast deck? That is one of my
Yeah.
favorite decks. I think that was before you. No, that was after. Yeah.
No, well, I play. Gladiator Beasts was like on its way out before windups. It was like they put some new support out and then it died. So I played Gladiator Beasts, and that was super fun. But
Yeah, so my mom thought Yu-Gi-Oh was Satan, so I didn't have any of that luxury of playing a wonderful game. She did not like that, so that wasn't allowed.
So to steal a Sugiism, this is not a Yu-Gi-Oh podcast. So anyways,
It is not a Yu-Gi-Oh podcast. No, we talked about that
Oh
on our
man.
podcast. This Yu-Gi.
Yeah, not
We were
being
we
anime.
were yeah, it's not an anime, but yeah. Other than that,
technically it is. Sorry, but it is.
it's a commercial.
It's
We're
an
gonna make
anime.
it. It's the same
Here we
thing as
go.
my. No, we're not gonna do this. You know what? If you want to listen to this argument, please go to episode
Hey,
506 of Knights of Ren Podcast featuring Jackalmen Games. Go to like the 60th minute and just listen from there. So garbage will do.
garbage will do. So let's talk about your Patreon. So, we talked a little bit about, where you got started and what appeals you to this game. So your Patreon and your Facebook page and the things that you do there, what are some things that we can get from becoming a Patreon? And what are some things that new players can get a leg up on as far as the competitive side or maybe just the knowledge of Destiny? What's there that you offer?
So when it comes to my Patreon program, I try to offer a very basic package. I, of course, include invites to the I Rebel Discord channel so you can talk to not only myself and other Patreon supporters, but other community leaders such as Sugi is a part of it, Jay is on it, and we have a Friends of I Rebel program, and most of them are there. We have contributors, so you're not only talking to other Patreon members, myself, community leaders who are Friends of I Rebel, but contributors who you may not know about behind the scenes of I Rebel. We offer a awesome 8-bit card for each level of our Patreon rewards. Yes,
All that.
and
You're
it is
awesome.
something that I really enjoy, and it's something that I wanted to give back to others by not only offering a fan card, but a fan card in a unique style. Not only do we do that, but at the higher levels, we offer the chance of having somebody on the podcast for their own episode, as well as a playmat if they want. So it's a very basic package, and we try to include everybody who supports us. So not only do you get all these rewards, but you also can have a say in like voting to who to have back on the podcast or topics for us to talk about.
Awesome. Now it starts at what, $10? Is that your first tier? What's your first tier you have?
It starts at $1.
$1. Okay. And it goes up to
Nice.
50?
And that is correct. Yes.
Awesome. Okay. So what tier has the playmats?
The I believe it is the general tier, which would be $40.
That's awesome. You can just like get some major swag from JediGeekGirl.
Yeah, I definitely like the altered art that you do. It's really cool. I've always been a big fan of like the 8-bit, style. I thought that was always really cool. So it's neat that you have that.
So, who are your favorite characters in Star Wars?
So in Destiny, that's available or just in general?
Both.
Okay, so I would have to say that as of now, one of my favorite characters has always been Darth Vader. I think that he has been just the thing that caught my eye since day one. He also was, as a little kid, I grew up always seeing Darth Vader all over the place because he was also one of my dad's favorite characters growing up. I grew up in a very strong Star Wars household, so stormtroopers and Darth Vaders were everywhere. So my dad had all kinds of little figurines and things like that, and then Han Solo. So those are my two favorite characters, I'd have to say, of Star Wars.
Yeah, and even your theater room that you're building is very imperial in style.
Yes, yes, it is. So that's just
Yeah.
kind of where like that nostalgia and that like that warm feeling inside comes from. Now, obviously, there's many characters in the universe, especially stuff that I'm finding from the Marvel's comic book series that I'm falling in love with. But right now, as far as the wholesome characters that I enjoy would be those two, which would be Han Solo and Darth Vader.
I am definitely a more rebel leaner. I love Lando Calrissian because my favorite
Rebel Wiener.
level leaner with an L.
Oh, okay.
Ain't no wieners in this podcast. Um, I've definitely leaned more towards the rebel side. I love. I haven't even watched the movie yet, and I love the new Lando Calrissian, and I love Jyn Erso. Jyn Erso forever. Felicity what's her name, right? Felicity Jones is the
Yes.
I don't know, whatever. That woman is great, and that movie is great, and K2SO is great, and like just I'm the rebel of the group, and I think your podcast is the best named podcast in all of the podcasts because it is a line that Jen Urso says. So.
So that is perfect because you hear it first, but I'm gonna go ahead and send you a Han Solo card, Ashton, and then for your co-host, you didn't name anything that we have, so I guess I can send you a Chewbacca to go with Ashton's Han.
Oh, dude, I'll be Chewie all day, every day.
That's it, man. Are you gonna be my Chewie?
Yes.
I'll be your Han Solo.
Thank you, girl. Thank you.
That's super cool. Thank you.
Wow, what a surprise.
Yeah, no problem.
Here, I'm gonna send you something in the mail. I'm gonna make you an origami something that you can keep on your desk forever. Let me learn how to make something out of origami first, and I'll send it to you.
Well,
and
actually,
that way
Ashton,
Jake can call it trash.
In my second grade classroom, I'm going to be trying to do origami cranes because the story that we read, the kids in this story made origami cranes. So I'll learn and I'll practice by teaching eight-year-olds, and it won't be too much different to teach you. So.
Oh man.
I believe that is called a burn.
Yes, that is a burn. You're gonna need some blue milk to pour in that.
Oh yeah.
Oh,
Yep.
you
Hyperspace jump from that one.
you sure you don't want green milk instead?
That's the freshest of milks. You have to get that straight from the source.
Yeah. From the teats.
I didn't want to say it, Ashton.
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 That's appropriate.
Come on, man. I mean, it's scientific, isn't it?
Yeah, I guess.
Hey, it's in a movie, so it's canon. So
it is canon. So since we're talking about cards, you are famous for predictions. Can I tell you one of my predictions and you kind of rate it?
sure, go ahead. On a scale of what? On a what scale?
Give me a scale from 1 to 5 on my predictions.
Okay.
All right. Well, it's also a character build. I want a Galen Urso in the game. Since they've introduced neutral characters, I think Galen Urso is like the neutraliest of neutral characters of all time. Even though there's a strong argument, you could just say he's straight up hero. But I also want him to be a gray character too. I think there's going to be a gray Galen Urso whose character value is 8 for 1 die and 10 for 2. So he can pair with both Krennic and Jin. And he's 9 health. Yep.
So I think when it comes to the card that you predicted, the character on it, I think it's a 3. I think it would be a good character to put into the game. When it comes to the card itself, I think it is a 2. I think it's too cheap. I don't think he fits the neutral. I don't think it's true to his character, especially gray. And with being 2 dice for 10, that opens up the door to, I believe, almost a 6 dice start, almost, or really close to that.
Yeah, I didn't think it all the way through.
Yeah.
Okay, so it's my turn. Let me try this.
Wait, I got a C. I got a C. That's a C.
I know I can top your score, Kev.
Oh yeah, I like your prediction. Go for it.
So this is one I just thought of today. Obviously with the whole situation of the season finale, that just happened. No spoilers. For Rebels. I don't know. Obviously, this character has been in the Clone Wars and everything from Rebels and Clone Wars all the way back into the movies. I would say we're going to see Rex and Cody. I would say Rex for sure, just because of how big of a part he plays. But I would say Rex would be a red character. Debatable to blue, but I would say red just because of the way the Destiny cards have been for the troopers being that color. And I would say he's probably going to be a 12 and 16, I would say. And I would like him to have some kind of ability that gives other trooper die an increase of 1 value. Something kind of cool like that, kind of more like a magic feel with like pairing characters or creature types.
Yeah, or a archetype in Yu-Gi-Oh.
Yeah, like archetype in Yu-Gi-Oh. Yeah. So that's that. Not that I know that, Mother, if you're watching, because I didn't play Yu-Gi-Oh. But
this isn't a Yu-Gi-Oh podcast.
So that's my prediction. What do you think?
I think it is a 4. I think
come
Rex
on.
is pretty much a guarantee coming into the game. I think the cost that you had on him is a little bit high. I like the ability. I think his health is also a little bit high for being a
Okay.
Rex. I think if he was like 12, 14, because if you're going with the idea that he is a leader, you at least have to make it possible for him to be paired with 2 troopers.
That's true.
At the elite cost. So I would say, like I said, a 4 when it comes to card design, and a 5 on the character, because I can pretty much say that he's in, and I don't have any official cred to back that up, but he's pretty much guaranteed.
I know, it gives me chills. I get like so excited. Like I want to see Cody and run Cody with Obi-Wan. Like
All right.
that would be so.
I just gotta say,
awesome.
I gotta say that this is favoritism.
And Rex with Anakin. Is that correct? Is that right?
Yeah, I can definitely see it as a possibility, but I don't think they are thinking about thematic pairings. If that makes any sense, I don't think that they are.
Yeah, they need a balance before they make thematic pairings.
Yes, exactly. Especially with Jeremy building from the ground up instead of how Lucas did it from the top to the bottom. I think it would be perfect, but I don't know if it is the top of FFG's mind to be like, hey, we gotta make these characters so that they can pair up with each other. But in a idealistic world, yeah, they should be paired that way.
Awesome. Hey, so Kevin.
Yeah.
Guess what?
What?
Pregnant pause. I beat you.
You know what? It's favoritism because she just, so she just likes you better. That's all. It's fine.
Well,
it's okay.
Well,
Okay,
see,
so
if
now-
he said
go ahead.
Ahsoka, then he probably would have got a 50 on a scale of 5. So
Oh, so that's your favorite character. We didn't know the sweet spot. We didn't know.
Ahsoka's my girl, man. I wanted to name my daughter Ahsoka, but my wife wouldn't let it. And I really we got in an argument over it, and I still couldn't win.
So I hate to detour, but did you know that Bobby Sapphire might be naming his child, and this is on Facebook, so he might be naming his child.
Oh, I didn't know that.
His middle name. Her middle name would be Ahsoka.
That's awesome. I gotta find that. And
Oh my goodness, I don't think my fiance will ever let me do that.
see, I'd have to just go for the first name. I wouldn't feel satisfied enough with the middle name. I'd have to just go first name or nothing.
Well, you got nothing, so there you go. unless you're planning for number 2.
So that was, I don't know, maybe.
And to detour even more, something else that you did not know about me. I haven't really pictured a girl's name, but if I had a boy, I would name him Luke Sky.
Hey,
Aw, that's pretty cute.
that is awesome.
But wait, is your last name Walker?
No, because I thought that was a little bit too much on the nose. And with Luke Sky, you have that Star Wars, but it's not in your face. And I think a lot of people, when they name babies, and this is not a baby naming podcast, they're a little bit too on the nose. So that's why I went with Luke Sky.
I agree.
You know what? It'd just be Jin for my baby. So there you go. But that's not gonna happen. I have different names lined up. Fiance and I have been talking about that for like 4 years. Anyways, not a baby naming podcast. Let's go.
So I wanted to ask you the next question. So do you play on TTS at all?
I do not play on TTS. I am so busy with my content creation and my day job and reading Star Wars. Remember, I'm a huge Star Wars fan, so I'm constantly keeping up. Like, I know pretty much as I can about canon outside of reading the reference book, and that's not just because I'm reading it on Wikipedia. I'm reading all these books. I'm watching everything. I'm in the fan community, and that takes a lot of time because I love Star Wars, Destiny, like how you would love a child, but it basically is a property of Star Wars, and I am a Star Wars fan first, and not only that, but doing so much for Ivy Bell, I just don't have enough time. So when it comes to going back to your question, playing the game, I play in person at the tournaments I am able to attend, and usually tournaments that I run outside of your high-level event.
Got it.
Okay. Yeah, seriously, Star Wars fan first is definitely the vibe.
I'm jealous. I haven't been able to find the balance. So I have tons of equipment technology, encyclopedia books, obviously character books, the universe books that talk about all like the planets and planets in the outer rim and further out. But I have some of that knowledge has started to fade because my brain has been getting so full of content creations and Destiny. And yet we play casual. I get in this game because I want to be competitive. I just don't want to be competitive in a lot of the content we do because that's not always inviting. That's kind of discouraging. But I'm definitely jealous of your well balance that you have right now, because right now I'm just kind of stuck in like, oh my God, all this stuff I want to do. Oh, I need to get back into reading my comics again and catching up on these series or whatever it may be. And then now that there's the live series coming out, I'm like, oh gosh, what am I going to do?
I definitely recommend catching up on everything before you get married, because you probably won't have time to catch up on everything. At least if you catch up on everything, then you're able to keep up with everything instead of trying to, trust me on this, bargain with your wife to like read or whatever.
Oh, I mean that is definitely something I have lined up.
How do you properly pronounce the name of the Jedi that Darth Vader killed in the comics?
Spoiler alert.
I have no idea. You're asking somebody who is hard of hearing and has a hard time articulating basic English language, and you're going to ask them how to pronounce a Star Wars word?
Hey, that's not an excuse. I can hear perfectly fine, and I'm so surprised I can spell my name, and I'm really really surprised I can read. So, and somehow I manage a company, and that company is still working. So grace of God, I guess. But I do not know how to pronounce this name properly, so I'm not going to say it to butcher it. So if someone watching this can tell me how to properly, or phonetically.
No, oh my gosh. Phonetically.
Phonetically.
Phone means sound.
Narrato.
Oh my gosh, Ashton. Come to my second grade classroom. You have some learning to be done.
Learning to be taught.
You got to get learnt.
But anyway, I would love to see him as a character. I feel they could have explored him a little bit more in that comic, and you probably have a better knowledge of the universe than I do. But do you know if they have anything else on him?
As far as I know, he is a new character in canon. He didn't come over from Legends, so basically what you see of him in the Darth Vader Volume 2 series is basically all that we have, as far as I'm aware.
Awesome. I would love to see him as a character. I think he's super cool. I think he's this awesome, like outcasted, kind of gray neutral Jedi that is super powerful and has a lot of rich history that I would love to know. I would also like to see something cool in Destiny, not to like branch off of subjects, but I guess this is kind of the way it goes. So back in the old lore, they had these energy packs that they kept on their sides. And, back like way before the laser sword concept of the kyber crystals inside the lightsabers, they used to have like these energy packs they kept, and there was a cable that actually ran up and to this handle, and that would emit this energy. I would love to see a card that had some kind of cool relic kind of thing there. That would be fun.
I definitely know what you're talking about. I am discovering the Legends universe. I have not gotten there, but I know exactly what you're talking about. That with them introducing more of that in canon, it definitely could be a possibility if it gets mentioned or something in canon, because right now they're focusing on canon, but I think that would be a unique thing, especially to confuse people. They'll be like, what the heck is this?
Yeah, because where I got most of that information from was from the Darth Plagueis book that I read, which was Legends, really.
And I have not read it either, so I know basically the plot, but I'm trying to avoid it.
Oh, it's good.
Yeah, okay. Well, this is a Star Wars podcast. It's fine.
Yeah.
But Legacies, that's the stuff that got knocked out when Disney took over, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Everything that was made before 2014 was classified as Legends outside of the live action films, the Clone Wars film, and the Clone Wars animated series. So the Legacy series is Legends, yes.
Okay, so all right. I am now on the same page as you, as probably like half of our followers. So gotcha.
And so now things that you see currently are like set in stone, like this is what happened. And one of the things that changed is before you could have different types of kyber crystals, and now they change based off of the person who wields it. So like Ahsoka's lightsaber and other Jedi's, the reason why they emit blue and green, and correct me if I'm wrong, but they change based off of the individual now, right? Is that right?
So if I may nerd out a bit
Go
and
ahead.
flaunt my knowledge. All right, number one, kyber crystals were not the lightsaber crystal of choice in the Legends universe. The kyber crystal concept, while its genesis did originate in a Legend book, Splinters of the Mind's Eye, it was canonized in the Clone Wars through David Filoni. So when it comes to
Okay.
the crystals in the Legends universe, as far as I know, those are not kyber crystals. The kyber crystals are the canon thing. Number two, the lightsaber crystals are not mood rings. They don't react based on your mood or your personality. They just are the color. The red is because the Sith / dark side users, they pour their emotions, and if you read the Darth Vader series, it dives into this. They bleed the crystal, and so if you have a green crystal or a blue crystal, it doesn't have to do with your role or your mood. It's not a mood ring.
So how did Ahsoka's blades become the color that they are?
So this is covered in the Ahsoka novel.
I
So
didn't read that. Okay.
Ahsoka got the crystals of her lightsaber from a Grand Inquisitor because the lightsaber crystals are basically like the wands in Harry Potter. They call to people. So, like if you watch the episodes of the Clone Wars, a
Right.
youngling will have has a crystal call out for them. But anyways, the crystal called out to her,
That was a great episode.
and
I love that episode.
and the crystal was already bled out. She got the crystals and she purified them.
Oh, that's awesome.
I did not
Okay.
know that. So I need to
So-
find where I read that, because I read something, and also I watched another video. Who was it? I want to say it was Dash Star. Um, I don't know if you know who he is, but he does like a cool like Star Wars like vlog and things of that sort. Well, he was talking about it, and he was referring to some literature also about how it would change. So I don't know if maybe that was legacies, or not legacies, but legends maybe.
Well, the thing about it is people usually interpret text how best fits the narrative. So I recommend reading the narrative yourself and coming to your own conclusion. But it comes to a point where people are just stretching and they're trying to fit their own narrative. But if you read the actual text, like it's not a mood
Yeah.
ring. So
Just like Yu-Gi-Oh is not an anime.
Oh God.
Anyways,
it's more of an anime than Pokemon.
that is true. That is even more of a commercial. And I play Pokemon, so that not the card game, the video game.
And this is not a Pokemon podcast.
Dude, we're just making all these references. Follow all of these podcasts. Follow everybody, because that's the goal of Jackalmen Games, is to just grab somebody, talk to them about whatever interests them, because this one's been mostly just Star Wars. We haven't even talked a lot about the game, and
Hey,
and just bring it to the front. Yeah, I mean seriously, yeah. I mean I wouldn't be if I just played trading card games. I don't think I'd be playing Destiny.
So if this was Legends of the Five Rings, and let's say it involved dice with all those decks, no, way too complex. Like the fact that it's Star Wars with dice, that's what I love.
Yeah, the dice is what make the game fun,
Right.
and Star Wars is what makes the game fun.
So one of the things me and Kevin talk about a lot is, where is the direction of Destiny going? Like what cards we feel are going to be important, what cards we feel are not going to be as important, and then obviously kind of where things go dollar amount wise. Like, what cards do we feel is going to get more expensive in the next set or later in the meta, now that we have just a couple more weeks of regionals, and what cards do we feel are going to fall in value. So with that being said, what cards do you think are going to be more playable and maybe more in value? How do you feel about stuff like that?
I think with card prices, it's always difficult to try to predict what the prices are going to be because you do not know what's going to come out. I think what you see at the top of the chart, as far as the top valuable cards from each set, are going to stay on top. I don't think you're going to see them like not do as well. Like, for example, I don't see Thrawn becoming the most valuable. This is just an example. I don't see like Thrawn becoming the most valuable card from Empire War. I think Ancient Lightsaber will always be the most valuable. I think the number one slot from each set is pretty much secure. The one below that is always flexible. One of the things that I noticed doing the eBay watch that I do on iRebel is that each time a new set comes out, the rest of the cards is always the most recent set. So like 15 cards of it, 15 cards on the list are from Legacies, and pretty much nothing is from the other sets except the most valuable card from that set.
Yeah, I've noticed that. I've noticed that a lot, that the value is there on the most recent stuff because obviously that's more playable and it's what's more desirable for people to have. So obviously the value is going to be higher there. Do you feel that Ancient Lightsaber will always forever be good? Do you think they may print something that's going to be better?
I think that right now it will always have a place in the market. I think it is such a good value to include in your deck. You can pretty much throw it in any deck, and it is well worth the cost. And I see the price of it going up unless they reprint it.
Because I'm always thinking about 2 years ahead, because this is the first game that I'm playing where things will fall out of rotation, and all of my cards are mostly from Legacies and the 2-player set. Like, I'm definitely going to become a Trilogies player. So, to me, Ancient Lightsaber doesn't hold that much value. Even though it is a $70 card on cool stuff, to me, it's not worth the money.
Well, I mean, for me, so it's cool because me and Kevin have kind of two different play styles, and we both have two different type of. I guess we both have our own kind of set of drive for this. So I love competitive play, and the way that I feel is I'm going to invest in Ancient Lightsabers because I need them. Because to be competitive, I need them, and they're very powerful. And I am going to be playing in, I guess, standard, like constructed. I'll play a little bit in trilogy, but I'm okay with it because I feel that later on they will reprint cards. I feel that's going to happen at some point. I just don't know when because it's still so new in the game. So I feel that, for me, I need to invest in them. I need to be competitive. I need to have my collection completed. I'm a lot of a type of person where I need to have every card, no matter if I play it or not. So, for Kevin, you're more trilogy driven, I guess, in the future, in the next 2 years. For me, I'm just always going to be in the new and the competitive constructed scene. So for me, it's definitely a yes, and I would buy them sooner than later.
Well, Ashton, can you please drop $140 for me? That'd be awesome. I need some sabers, because if the value's there, it's worth it to have 4 of them.
Hey, we'll just start pulling packs, man.
Dude. So, that's another question. Since we're talking about prices, I'm really super tempted to buy a sealed box of Legacies and not open it until like 3 years down the pipe. Do you think that box will still sell for $90 or more?
No, because Legacies is a base set. They're going to keep printing the sets even after new sets come out for that year. If you're looking to buy a set and sit on it, I would recommend buying the expansions, the set 2 or 3 of the block. Like Spirit of Rebellion is already out of stock in most places. So if you can get a Spirit of Rebellion box and sit on it, I would do that. I think Awakening has quite a bit of product. I think Empire at War is another one you could sit on if you're trying to have money. Awakening maybe because it is the first set, but Legacies, they printed so much of it because it is a base set that I don't think that is a good economic value to sit on. I may be completely wrong if the game is around 10 or 15 years, but...
Right, that is a good answer. Thank you.
JediGeekGirl, you are awesome. There's so much value in this podcast just because of that. Because that is stuff that like I think about, and because of your vast knowledge, I feel so much more comfortable thinking that.
I have to say that when it comes to prices are something that I really enjoy keeping track of and watching, and since the beginning of Destiny is always something that I've been doing in the community. I remember doing it in a local Facebook group. I also remember creating the price watch as well as what I'm doing now. So I'm always keeping my eye on the market and the value of cards because I think that is a valuable resource for the community, and I'm happy to do it, and it is nice to have that. So
that's definitely something you give to the community,
which is huge. I mean, it's huge. That definitely gravitated me towards you, and that was a big pull for me, is looking at things from a financial decision and also from a competitive side of how much do I want to get immersed into this, and that is awesome. Yeah, so there's a lot of good stuff there.
Because this game is super affordable. I mean, it definitely a new player can jump in, and with a couple $100 and then be set. Because that's what I just did. Yeah, but it's also good to know the long haul.
So basically, I was going to do a little plug here for the IvyBellDestiny.com website that we have a weekly feature called the eBay Hot 25, which basically is a list of the highest selling singles of that week. One per card, and with completed listings, basically to see what the most valuable cards are, not what they're going for. So you're like, okay, what was the highest sale of last week? You can go to the website and check the list and be like, okay, Empire Ancient Lightsaber is the most valuable card. Now, the price might say $60 and it might be worth $50 or $60, but it basically gives you an idea of what is hot right now on eBay and what is selling. Because if I listed an Ancient Lightsaber for $90, that doesn't mean it's the most
Exactly.
valuable. You want to get the information that is sales completed. So, again, the list that I have on the website is cards that might not be going for that value, but the most valuable cards are the most valuable cards, and I think it is a great resource to have to be like, okay, is this card selling and is it hot? You know what I'm
Which
saying?
you released one today,
Yeah.
didn't you? On
No,
March 12th?
I released
or-
it. Oh, I released it. Yeah, today actually. Yeah, and I release it usually weekly on Sunday.
Right. Yeah, that's one of the things that
Okay.
I saw populate, and I look forward to coming out because there's a lot of good information there. And like you said, it's for what's been sold, and it kind of gives you an idea too of what things are truly going for. And then also, if you're trying to sell cards or you're trying to work in that market and try to make some extra money, it's something to watch. It's something to look into.
That keeps the secondary market in check too. Like, it's not like you said, you're gonna list $90. Like, if you were to go and list your ancient lightsabers for $90, people can go check your eBay watch and say like, oh, that is not a good price. I am not going
Right.
to put $90 out. Like this girl, she says that I can get it for 60 or 70 or a lower number. So it definitely takes the secondary market and turns it into this regulated, a more knowledgeable base, so you don't drop $10 extra than you have to for that single you need.
Well, I do want to clarify that the eBay Hot 25 is a resource. It's like it's basically the Hot 25. It's basically not to be, hey, you can list it at this price. It's be like, okay, Ancient Lightsaber is selling and it's the most valuable card. So it's like, hey, if I pull a Z6 Ride Baton, is it worth selling? Like, is there a drive for it? Is it valuable? If it's on the eBay Hot 25, you know that it is wanted, it is valuable, but it is no guarantee that you're going to get the price that is listed on the eBay 25. So it's basically like a top 20, like a top 10 list, if you will, more than it is a resource for listing your cards.
Right. So, question: why do you think Darth Vader is more valuable dollar-wise than Zeb?
That I would say that would be a rhetorical question. It is Darth Vader, and Darth Vader is extremely popular.
Right. So yeah, and that's kind of what I was thinking. I mean, yes, it is popular. But I mean, it's not very playable and competitive. But it is something that is definitely popular. So obviously, there's more value that's there. That includes the cards that people are fans of and the cards that are actually playable.
It is definitely a balance because you have people who buy Star Wars Destiny who are collectors, and you have players, and right now it's kind of hard to grasp. I know with Pokemon you have a lot of collectors that I don't think you have in Destiny. I don't think that ratio is the same to Pokemon, but I don't really know. But it is Star Wars, so who knows?
Yeah, I would definitely go out. I mean, I have a set of Vaders, but I would definitely go out and purchase, the additional altered arts or another set or just another Vader to have or to, frame or to put somewhere. Just because I'm a fan, and I would pay that money just because of that. So it has value just because of what it is. Do you feel Yoda will become stronger in the next set, or do you think he'll become weaker, less playable?
I think that he will always have a place in the meta because he is a utility character. At his cost, you can pretty much throw him into any deck you want. Basically, his importance to the meta will depend on the partners and the other cards that come out. If other cards come out that best fit his slot, then he will probably see less play. But he is so flexible. You can put him in middle, you can put him in aggro, that I see him always having a place in the meta. But now the question is if he will be on the top of the meta. Well, that's kind of hard to predict because you don't know what's coming.
Yeah, I cannot wait until leaks coming out because so much to talk about now.
So when is that going to be? When do you think we'll start seeing something from the next set?
So I think we should probably get something this week, if not the next week. And I have been saying that for like the last 3 weeks. So, as the Cubs always say, there's always next year. In this case, next week.
Right. And I agree. I think some people were thinking that it was going to happen last week as well, weren't they?
I was kind of
The 5th?
expecting the first week of March. Right now, I know that they're focusing on Legion, so that might be something as to why they haven't announced something this Gamma tomorrow. So we might see something tomorrow. Yeah, it should be coming soon because they have that cycle where every 4 months, and we are a month or two into Legacies.
Yeah. So, and also they just dropped the promos that are coming out. The Holdout Blasters and the Forces with Me.
And those beautiful new tokens. I love those tokens so much better than the red or the clear.
Well, they aren't pink, so.
Yeah, we know you love your pink. So what is that in your icon?
It is a phoenix.
The target in the radar. It is a phoenix. Okay.
Yep, it is a phoenix, and I think this is perfect for me to explain what everything is when it comes to I Rebel. I Rebel, when it comes to the name and the brand, it is a sign of rebirth and a sign of defiance because, as I mentioned earlier, I am Hada Yang, and I am a rebel at heart. I believe in doing things that you want to do and not being told no. And the Phoenix is a sign of rebirth, of moving past what I have done in the Star Wars community and moving forward and doing my own thing. The pink represents femininity. The black is to enhance the pink. The 8-bit is because I am a Nintendo fan. I love Nintendo. And the radio sign is because it's a podcast. I mean, that pretty much explains itself.
Yo, you know what? We haven't had a chance to explain our stuff. Let's do that now. This is a perfect open door.
For me, I'll go first. So a lot of people don't know this, but I am a true hip dysartic amputee. So I am missing my entire left leg, like the entire part, all 3 movements. And one of the things that I really respect about your I Rebel is I know exactly what it's like to try to overcome and move forward. So I have taken it as a challenge. I have hiked waterfalls and mountains. I have climbed rock sides in North Carolina because there's like really none of that in Florida. And I have a beautiful wife and daughter. And I have restored my own 73 Volkswagen Beetle myself. I have done remodeling. I have done anything and everything. Like I'll carry my daughter through. Yeah, I'll carry my daughter through Walmart. And I'll crutch without using my hands. And people are like, oh my God, you're going to slip and fall. I'm like, no, man, I got this. Now, I have slipped and fallen plenty of times, and it's very hysterical. One time I slipped on a piece of paper in Walmart. Oh, man, that was wonderful. Like, I sprawled out everywhere like a flying squirrel. Like, I mean, I'm just talking like all 3 limbs just like laying out like a star. The most awkward star, by the way, for 3 limbs. But
you know what? It's still an odd number.
I know what it's like, and I definitely respect that. So, in this life, you have to move forward. One of my favorite colors is green because it stands for exuberant and growth. I'm always trying to find ways to grow myself mentally, physically, in anything and everything I do. I also have a very compulsive and a immersive personality. So like when I find something that I like, I have to take all of it and try to learn everything about it. It's very obsessive, I know, but I love it. It's just who I am. So that is so cool. I am so glad you shared that with us. Oh, and Kevin's just a 2nd grade teacher.
Yeah, I'm just a dude. You guys make me look bad. I'm a straight white male. There I am. That's me.
So basically you are the Chris of Jackalmen games, right?
Yeah, but I like my own identity. I like my own identity. I'm not Chris. I'm Kevin. I don't want to be him, even though he's great. I want to be me.
I would also like to take this time and put it out there publicly why I do. One of the other reasons why I do what I do is because I've been told that I inspire people because of my handicap and being a female voice in the community. And there was a time when I was considering walking away from Destiny because of things that happened, and people reached out to me and they were supportive, and they're like, it was nice having your voice for what you have and not having that hold you back. And it took a while, but I decided to persevere, and now I'm doing the podcast. I'm learning as I go. Everything is an improvement, everything is an uphill, but I do what I do because there are people who I inspire. I don't want to sound egotistical, but there is a voice that there are voices in a community that don't exist, and I have a voice that helps others who feels like their voice are not being heard. So that is why I do. And you were going to ask this, and I'm going to say, I do what I do. Why my brand is relevant is because there's no brand like me. There is no woman having their own podcast who has the same setup as I do, and I try to feature a different cast of characters and subject each episode because that is who I am. I love diversity. Like, I love playing different types of decks. I love spreading out my fandom and different things. That's just who I am. I love the diverse, and I carry that onto the show. So what I bring to the Star Wars fan community is unique. I bring me. I bring my passion. I bring my unique thing, and I bring a platform for other people to express themselves and their opinion, and I try to do that with the website too, with the author. It's not about me. Yes, I host the show. Yes, I host the website, but it's not just about my content. It's about presenting a place that is a platform to other people that other brands may not have, because every brand, like, you can name one, there's a team, there's a group of people. With my podcast, yes, it's me, but
Right.
It's not the same each episode.
Right. And that's so cool, because one of the things is like, when I look at the content you put out, I'm like, oh my gosh, like, if I'm ever going to be competitive in content creation, you're not the one I'm going after. Like, you have so many different things covered, and all of it's good. Like, so one of the reasons why we do this is, and one of the things I was excited about having you on is, I always see you in the chats. I always see you everywhere. It's like somehow you're like this lurking shadow. It's really cool. Well, anyway, so one of the things that I'm excited about is people that are new to Destiny, they need to check out your channel. They need to check out your Facebook. They need to check out your podcast. They need to get involved in what you put out there, because it's all relevant. It's all things that they can use. It's all things that can help them, get started. So that's awesome. And yeah, you got it. You need to keep moving forward in everything that you're doing, for sure.
I basically enjoy what I do. I am obsessive and I'm single, so I'm basically able to do everything that I'm able to do because I have a lot of time on my hands and I'm really obsessive. So
awesome. I feel the same way. Great. I am not alone.
Well, thank you so much for coming on. This was like the best conversation I've had about Star Wars ever.
Yes.
Ever. And there's like an hour that they haven't heard because we were just sitting here waiting for Ashton to get on. And yeah, I just want to go read my book about, I just want to go read Rebel Rising right now, but I have to edit this.
I haven't finished the Vader series yet, and I want to start the Afra as well. So one of the things is when I saw you put that up on your Twitter, I was like, oh man, no way. That's so cool. So, it's neat to learn more about you. So we do appreciate all the questions, especially some of the ones just kind of digging into your mindset and the way you think about stuff. We appreciate you taking over all the questions we have for you.
I want to say thank you guys for having me on, and good luck editing, because there was a lot of good content that we were able to do. And yeah, it was a blast, and I hope maybe we can do this again sometime.
Oh, most definitely.
Yes. Absolutely.
Host us. Have us on. We'll do anything you want.
Well, I have a one-on-one, so you guys are going to have to fight over who gets...
Oh, that's true. Ashton and we're a package. We can't... I'm his 2 extra legs. There we go.
I like that better than you talking about just, Ashton's package on podcast.
Oh my God.
I appreciate that.
All right. Okay. All right. This is not a package podcast. What can Brown do for you? Nothing.
Also, this podcast is not PG-13. It's PG.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, we're just talking about brown boxes, man. That's all we're talking about. All right. Thanks again for subscribing to Jackalmen Games. Thank you for subscribing to JediGeekGirl, because if you haven't, I know you're going right there to click that
absolutely
subscribe button for her. Wait, hold on. Do you post on YouTube? I'm not sure.
I
I
don't
do
think you
not.
do.
No, I
Yeah.
do not.
She doesn't. Just mostly like,
So
yeah.
just go to her Facebook. Go everywhere.
Facebook is
Find
everywhere.
her. Yes. So, actually, you know what? She's everywhere. So you'll just
Yeah,
find
she'll
her
just pop up in the
naturally.
shadows like how I found her. It's like, what is that?
So-
Coupons for Walmart? I rebel. Star Wars Destiny box for sale? That's how it works.
Price watch.
Price watch.
Amazing content. All right. So thanks again, and we will see you soon.
All right, guys, take it easy.
Bye bye.